Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Keto Power Podcast. I'm Claude, your host, and today we talk about insulin. Insulin, too much of a good thing. On January 11th, 1922, insulin was first used in the treatment of diabetes. The patient was a female with type 1 diabetes. That's the type in which the pancreas becomes unable to produce insulin. And so, with no insulin there to tell the cells to take in blood sugar for energy and other nutrients, the body slowly starts to die. Thanks to the treatment, the patient was kept alive. It's said that she received 42,000 shots of insulin before finally passing away in 1981 at the age of 74. While both type 1 and type 2 diabetes result in detectable increase in blood sugars, the root cause of each differs very much. Focusing on the level of glucose in the blood is what doctors typically do in order to evaluate a patient for diabetes. Distinguishing between type 1 and type 2 diabetes is fairly easy given how different the patient's history would typically be. A type 1 diabetic would be rather young and thin, while a type 2 diabetic will be middle-aged and up and rather fat with noticeable gut. That's because a type 1 diabetic has very low insulin in the blood, while a type 2 diabetic has a level that is too high. That is the most important distinction. In fact, if insulin levels were tested in the doctor's office instead of blood sugar levels, it would reveal a pre-diabetic problem in a lot of patients that could then be helped early, before diabetes starts to be a problem. But if your only tool is a hammer, then I guess every problem has to look like a nail. And so the focus on lowering blood sugar with insulin, rather than limiting its consumption, persists today. Dr. Jason Fung, who has done amazing work improving people's health with success and at very low cost compared to traditional treatments, has a great analogy to describe the mainstream healthcare system and how it treats type 2 diabetes. He compares the metabolism of the cell to someone packing a suitcase to go on a vacation. In this analogy, a type 1 diabetic would simply be unable to open the suitcase because he is missing the key, insulin. The situation with the type 2 diabetic is very different. He's just got too many clothes. The suitcase is full and he's still trying to pack it in there. The clothes, of course, here represents the blood sugar, glucose. So he goes to his doctor for help, and the doctor gives him meds to push more clothes into the suitcase, and so on and so forth. Okay, this represents insulin resistance. That suitcase just can't take any more. Well, eventually what happens is that suitcase starts to rip at the seams. And that is the problem with too much insulin. It causes damage and inflammation all over your body. And the way you deal with this is by selecting more judiciously what you put in your body, and you stop when you're full. All right? I'll see you next episode.